Okay, well, welcome everybody to the Great Discovery's new course spotlight. This is the place to come to see some of the hottest previews of new courses and content that are on the Great Discovery. Tonight, we have a spectacular session for you. It's hosted by Dr. Frumi Barr, where she's going to be showing you about raising a CEO from booster chair to boardroom. Dr. Barr is absolutely has a reputation that precedes her. She is well known throughout the world when it comes to topics like this. Absolute expert. You need to look into Dr. Frumi's courses. Dr. Frumi, I'm going to hand it over to you.
So I'm going to give you a different experience tonight. I'm going to share what my courses look like, and then we're going to pretend that we're in a library or a bookstore, and I'm going to do a reading for you. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. So first of all, this is the spotlight for the Great Discovery. A little bit about me. I'm an author, an educator. I have a school. I'm a guide to entrepreneurs. And so I'm passionate about entrepreneurs because what I know is that you never learn in school how to start, fund, and grow a business. You learn your trade, whether you're a marketing officer or a lawyer, an accountant, but you don't learn how to build a business. And that's why I started creating these courses. So on the Great Discovery, I have a total of 28 courses. A whole bunch of them are free. So a lot of these are called Always Be Learning, different topics like overcoming fear, getting over a failure, etc. Those are little sound bites. They're maybe 10 minutes long. And then uh, we also have a whole bunch of um, academy courses that offer coaching to go along with that. The Entrepreneurial Edge, the Path from Failure to Success, Scaling Smart, Mastering Growth. And you can see there's a lot of them. And the reason I chose to put my courses on the Great Discovery platform is because of the language translation. So one of the free courses that anybody can get is a copy of my book, A CEO's Secret Weapon. So this book was written by interviewing CEOs from around the world, and I asked them what their challenges were. And then I used their why as the engine to overcome the challenges that they faced. I was a colleague of Simon Sinek. You might be familiar with him. He created the Golden Circle. He gave me this wonderful little coin that says inspire action on one side and the Golden Circle on the other. And I wear it when I'm doing things like this because it means a lot to me. And so this book is available for free. And then, of course, I wrote this one. This one, I have to say, I wrote it, I've been writing it in my head for so many years, raising a CEO from booster chair to boardroom. It's a journey that I shared. I have five children, four and a stepson, and two of my children are now CEOs. My two oldest ones didn't have the benefit of me as a business coach, and my younger ones, one of them works for Google and is a VP there, and the other two are CEOs. So the audio book is available for free, and in the Academy, there's a special consultation. So now, whoops, now it's story time. So this isn't just a business book. This is a story of parenting and the small things that you can do every day that shape leaders long before they have a title. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to start reading. Any questions before I start from anybody? Sounds like it's a go. Okay. So
Go.
this first chapter is called My Number One Client. So, some of the most profound lessons in life happened during the simplest moments. For me, one of those moments came during one of the many drives to a sports event with CJ sitting in the passenger seat. My phone rang, and it was a client asking to meet with me later that afternoon. Without hesitation, I responded, I'm with another client right now. Can we schedule something first thing tomorrow? As I hung up the phone, I glanced over at CJ, who was staring at me with wide eyes. Mom, you lied, he said, incredulous. I smiled and turned to him. No, CJ, I said gently, you will always be my number one client, and right now I'm with you. A small moment, a big lesson. That exchange may have been brief, but its impact was anything but small. It was a moment that crystallized my priorities and reminded CJ that no matter how busy life got, he would always come first. What I didn't realize at the time was how much this moment would resonate, not just with CJ, but with others. Over the years, I've shared this story with busy clients who are juggling the demands of their careers and family lives, and time and again, I've seen it spark an epiphany. A simple shift in mindset can bring balance and clarity to even the most hectic lives. The power of perspective. It's easy to get caught up in the urgency of work. Deadlines, meetings, and client demands can feel overwhelming, and it's tempting to believe that everything requires immediate action. But the truth is, nothing is more urgent than the relationships that matter most. Reframing the way you think about your time is a small but powerful act. By viewing CJ as my number one client in that moment, I gave myself permission to set boundaries and prioritize what truly mattered, being present for my child. Paying it forward. I hope this simple perspective is something CJ carries forward into his own life now that he has two little people of his own. The ability to pause, to set aside the noise of the world, and to focus fully on the people we love isn't just a gift to them, it's a gift to ourselves. What's more, I've seen how this story has changed the lives of others. Clients who were longing for more time with their families have told me how this small shift in thinking helped them reconnect with their kids, reclaim their time, and find the balance they've been searching for. A lasting legacy. That day in the car may have seemed ordinary at the time, but it became a powerful reminder of what matters most. CJ may have been surprised by my answer that day, but I hope it left an impression, one that lasts a lifetime. Because at the end of the day, no matter how full our schedules are or how demanding life gets, the people we care about most are our most important clients, and they deserve our undivided attention, even for just a moment. So the next thing I'm going to read to you is something that parents do all the time. The words that make a teenager's blood run cold. You're grounded. You've probably heard parents say it with loud indignation, their frustration boiling over, and the poor, misunderstood offspring's fearful response is always the same. For how long? A day? A week? A month? Well, how about until you're 18? Well, here's the thing. Grounding, at least in the traditional sense, doesn't work. Sure, it sounds satisfying in the heat of the moment, a definitive consequence for whatever atrocity has just been committed. But let's be honest, after a day or two, no one even remembers what the original crime was. The punishment loses its sting, the lesson is forgotten, and life goes on as before. Now, CJ being my fourth child, I had plenty of opportunities to experiment with grounding tactics. Let's call it parenting R&D. After all, isn't that the purpose of grounding, to teach that actions have consequences? Over the years, I tried the usual methods. Sometimes for repeat offenses, the grounding became longer or more severe, though not necessarily more effective. By the time CJ, usually a poster child for good behavior, committed his offense, I had refined my approach into a well-oiled strategy. Now, I honestly can't remember what CJ did that day, and neither can he. What I do know is this: it was serious enough to warrant an immediate response, but not so egregious that it caused lasting fallout. It was likely something impulsive, a breach of trust, or a moment of carelessness that crossed the line. Whatever it was, I knew I needed to respond in a way that would leave a lasting impression. And let me tell you, My grounding strategy was a good one, as I only had to enforce it once. The plan, now a decade old since its inception, was simple. And it's even more relevant in today's digital age. All right, I've kept you waiting long enough. Here it is. 24 hours in solitary confinement. Okay, that's a bit dramatic, but the idea was simple. 24 hours in his room with absolutely no media of any kind. No phone, no TV, no iPad, no computer, nothing. Not even an Apple Watch, should a child be so lucky. At first, the concept seems laughably easy. Fine, you might think, I'll just nap or scroll through a book or do something. But then it sets in boredom, withdrawal, a sense of isolation from the buzzing, connected world. For a teenager, especially in today's hyper digital landscape, it's like hitting a reset button on their entire reality. Food was delivered on a tray. There were no exceptions, no negotiations. Seclusion lasted the full 24 hours. By the end of it, a contrite and much humbler individual would emerge, blinking in the light of freedom. And the best part, he vowed to behave. How many times do you think I had to implement this strategy? Once, just once. Bingo. The genius of this method wasn't just its simplicity, it was in the side effects. You see, when you're stuck in your room for 24 hours without distractions, there's only so much sulking you can do. Eventually, boredom forces you to get creative or productive. In CJ's case, this meant organizing his underwear drawer. Well, let's be honest, it's the best metaphor for rethinking how you operate in the world. Grounding reimagined. The beauty of this strategy is that it focuses on teaching reflection, not just punishment. Traditional grounding is often about restriction. You can't go out, you can't see your friends, you can't have fun, but it rarely encourages introspection. What my 24-hour method did was create space, both physical and mental, for CJ to think about his actions and their consequences. So if you're considering your own version of this approach, here are a few variations you might try. The reflective journal, along with seclusion, provide a notebook and ask your child to write down their thoughts. What happened? Why? How could they handle things differently next time? The cleanup clause, encourage them to use their time to tidy their space. There's something therapeutic about organizing, and it often leads to clearer thinking. The book challenge, offer a book on personal growth or problem solving. Even if they're resistant at first, a good story can provide surprising lessons. Or the silent hourglass. If 24 hours feels too extreme, start with shorter bursts, say 4 or 6 hours, where the goal is simply to unplug and reset. The post-grounding debrief. Once the grounding period is over, have an honest conversation. What did they learn? How do they feel? What can both of you do better moving forward? For CJ, that one day in solitary was all it took. He emerged not just contrite, but recalibrated, with a clearer understanding of responsibility and consequences. As a CEO, he now leads teams and makes high-stakes decisions, some of which inevitably result in mistakes. But he approaches those moments with the same calm and clarity he learned as a teenager in his room. Own the mistake, learn from it, and move forward. And if in the process you end up with a clean room and an organized underwear drawer, well, that's just the icing on the cake. Tim, do we have time for one more?
Yes, we do. Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this one is one of my favorites. And it's called Emotional Bank Accounts and the Power of Deposits. Did anyone ever teach you how to write a check or make a deposit as part of your education? If you did, you were one of the lucky ones, because most of us just bumble along and learn that on our own. We all know how wonderful it is to make deposits. After all, deposits allow us to take care of all our needs and wants. Withdrawals, on the other hand, are often more painful and challenging. Bank accounts are a fantastic metaphor for relationships. In this context, a deposit is something thoughtful, or meaningful that resonates with the other person. A withdrawal, as you might imagine, is something that pushes someone's buttons or causes them stress or disappointment. This concept is true in every aspect of life. In our personal relationships, we're constantly making deposits or withdrawals with our spouses, significant others, children, or parents. The same applies in our professional lives with partners, peers, direct reports, and clients. The question is, how often do we stop to think about it? What might happen if we approached every interaction, whether with our children, friends, or business partners, as an opportunity to make a deposit? What difference would it make if we were mindful of our balance before we made inevitable withdrawals, like missing a deadline or arriving late for a school play? Maintaining a positive balance in your emotional bank account could be the key to stronger, more resilient relationships. Teaching the lesson. Let me share how I taught this concept to CJ in a way that resonated deeply, and as I would later discover, had ripple effects far beyond what I could have imagined. The morning after Thanksgiving one year, I got a call from CJ. He had left his truck at home and needed a ride from his girlfriend's house. His girlfriend had already left for work, so I asked him a question that got him completely off guard. Did you make the bed? His answer, no, like, of course not. So I suggested he go back inside and make the bed before I picked him up. I promised to explain why when he got in the car. A lot of lessons happened in that car, I have to tell you. At the time, CJ was a finance and accounting major at USC in Los Angeles, a bright young man who thrived on logic and strategy. I saw an opportunity to teach him a life lesson that would resonate with his analytical mind. As soon as he settled into the passenger seat, I dove in. When you stay at the fraternity house on the weekend, leaving your girlfriend alone on a Saturday night, that's a withdrawal from her emotional bank account, I explained. But when you take a moment to make the bed before you leave, that's a huge deposit. She'll come home, see it, and feel how thoughtful you are. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference. I continued, your job is to look for opportunities to make deposits. You'll always make plenty of withdrawals, sometimes without even realizing it. But if you keep your balance high with thoughtful gestures, the relationship will be stronger, more forgiving, and ultimately more fulfilling. As he nodded thoughtfully, I knew the lesson had landed. The ripple effect. What I didn't realize at the time was how far this small moment would travel. A decade later, at CJ's wedding rehearsal dinner, several of his friends pulled me aside. They shared how much that one piece of advice had meant to them, not because CJ had kept it to himself, but because he had passed it along. Turns out CJ had been sharing the emotional bank account concept with his friends for years, and they had all put it to good use in their own relationships. Hearing that brought a new level of meaning to the lesson. As a parent, you always hope the values and lessons you instill in your children will ripple outward. Seeing that ripple in action, especially in such a tangible way, was one of the most gratifying moments of my life. Parenting meets leadership. This concept of emotional bank accounts isn't just about relationships at home, it's also about leadership. Whether you're leading a family, a team, or an organization, maintaining trust and goodwill is essential. Leaders who make consistent deposits, recognizing effort, offering support, and being thoughtful in their actions build strong, loyal teams. Withdrawals, on the other hand, are inevitable. No leader is perfect and mistakes happen. But when the balance is positive, those withdrawals are met with understanding rather than resentment. CJ's early understanding of this concept has undoubtedly shaped his leadership style. As a CEO, he's carried the lesson of deposits and withdrawals into his professional relationships, creating an environment where his team feels valued and supported. And it all started with a made bed. So thank you for listening to me. I believe that was my 20 minutes of fame. Any questions?
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Frumi. We do have a couple minutes for some questions if anybody has anything. Speak up. I thought that I haven't really heard it laid out that way, deposits and withdrawals, because it really comes down to sometimes we look at it as political capital or you don't have it, right? But it's relational capital, to a certain extent, when you're sometimes you have to do that disciplining. And I don't know any kid that really likes that much. You're kind of the enemy for a while, but you need to counter it as well with those nice things, those emotional deposits. So thank you. Excellent,
You
excellent
make a
content.
nice emotional deposit to Sandra, okay?
Oh yeah, don't worry, I've got that I've got it covered. Couple questions on your course for tonight, Raising a CEO from Booster Chair to Boardroom. How is that laid out? Is it laid out in a storytelling environment, or you
It's
know?
it's an audible book. So it's just as I presented it, but the
Ah,
second part of the book is also an explanation of what leadership is, because not all parents know what leadership is. They hear about it. We certainly have enough CEOs in the news all the time. So the second part of the book is about leadership and all the different concepts, and it relates back to the stories about CJ. And the funny thing, when I was recording the book and putting it into the Great Discovery, my second child became a CEO, and she's the newly minted CEO of the Sonoma Valley Boys and Girls Club. And so I am now in Sonoma. I followed her here.
wow, that's fantastic. Now, have you translated your any of your audiobook yet?
No, I haven't.
It's totally free, Dr. Frumi. Come on now, make an emotional deposit into the people that are in the other parts of the world that can't get your content now,
Okay,
right?
so how many languages? So in my reel, I have, let's see, German, Portuguese, Hindi, um, French, and Spanish.
You've got 120, and with the new upgrades, it's all free. All you got to do is go back there and start selecting. Pick your target markets first, and now your audiobook is 120 languages, and it costs you nothing. On the other side, the purpose of pre-translating is one, it makes it searchable in those countries and in that language. But if they find it otherwise, they can translate it themselves by clicking a button. It takes depending on how long it is, up to 10, 15, 20 minutes to render. But if it's pre-translated, it's already there. They're going to see it on their screen, and it's already going to be displaying as a course in their language. So that's one of the new advents of the Great Discovery, is really with audiobooks. That's been our topic tonight. What a great follow-up here with that. I didn't know yours was an audiobook, but you instantly have global access. No matter how many people you've reached here in North America, now you can get to people everywhere, to the people that really need it. And not that they don't hear, trust me, I know a couple of parents that could use that. In fact, I shared this course with a homeschooling group, your course, just a few weeks ago, and they enjoyed it. So that course is available, team. The Raising a CEO from Booster Chair to Boardroom. The link is in there. It's $125. That's it. And that could save you, gosh, I don't know how many hours of countless negative parenting time that you could avoid. I think that's totally worth it. And when you promote her course, you get paid. What goes wrong with that? And
So
of course, she's also got a freebie course up there as well. And the freebie course is Raising a CEO. No, that's not that. That's the next one. It's a CEO's secret weapon: how to accelerate success. Grab those courses, share them far and wide, help other people, get yourself paid, help Dr. Frumi get some new clients, because you're going to want people promoting your content, right? That's what it all comes down to. Dr. Frumi?
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Renee, for your comment.
Very good, doctor. This is Dr. Virgil. Let's connect. I live in Healdsburg, Sonoma County.
Oh, okay. Let's connect. Indeed. I'll
And
look you up on LinkedIn.
our GMC dealer here in Healdsburg, his big fundraiser thing is the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I love that. Thank you.
we have Dr. Virgil Beasley, Beasley.
I got you. I'll look you up. Thank you.
Anna, I saw your hand up a little while ago. Did you have a question? Does anybody else have any questions for Dr. Frumi? We got 3 minutes. Ask now or forever, lose your emotional capital.
That was applause. It was
There's
applause,
Renee
not
Rice. Hi,
waving my
Renee.
hand. I'm so
I just
ready
wanted to
to
quickly
stay
say,
recorded.
oh, somebody else talking. Hold on. I hear two voices. I hear voices. I just want to say I reached out to you on LinkedIn, Dr. Fumi, so let's connect for sure. I just incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah, I definitely want to speak with you. You poured into us, and we're happy to pour back into you. Just a tremendous spotlight. Yeah, let's connect further. Thank you, Tim, for having this, and it's timing. You couldn't line this up. This is the planets aligning. Talking about right before this about doing the book and audio, and then who's the spotlight? This is amazing. So it was a perfect alignment for what we're presenting and promoting on the Great Discovery. And you are a tremendous asset to this organization, and what your teachings are just tremendous. So thank you for sharing your time and your voice with all of us. Great tool. So thank you so much. I look forward to connecting further.
Thank you. Thank you, Renee. All right.
Any last question? This is it. Speak now or, speak later.
I'm going to connect with Renee as well. Well, thank you for the opportunity, Tim.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on. We'll have this replay up tomorrow. Share it far and wide. Share Dr. Frumi's courses. Share everybody's courses because you want people to promote yours, promote theirs. That's what this is all about. One hand rubs the other, right? Everybody have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Take
Okay.
care all.
Bye. Bye, everyone.